How new killer drones are the future virtual warfare. Because of the war in Ukraine, we are seeing technology that we thought only exists in sci-fi movies. And one of those technologies is AI-assisted killer drones. The Russian invasion of Ukraine shows how quickly the battlefield can change in a short period of time. Remote control computer-assisted weapons systems, artificial intelligence, and social media platforms are all used in modern warfare. Consider the last time a global superpower attempted to destabilize a sovereign country to get a sense of how quickly things are changing. That was in 2003 when the United States launched an invasion of Iraq. Even remotely controlled armed drones were considered novel at the time, and robotic and autonomous weaponry were regarded as science fiction rather than science fact. Facebook's news feed did not exist at that time. Twitter, WhatsApp, and WeChat also did not respond. Now let's jump ahead to the year 2022. Welcome to Drone Zone, the channel that brings you the latest, most exciting news and info about drones. In today's video, we talk about the killer drones that were killing the Taliban back in the 2000s and are killing Russians in this war. So make sure to stay till the end of the video to know how the world is reacting to these and how Russia is countering them. At first glance, the situation in Ukraine appears to be similar to previous military conflicts. Ukraine uses anti-tank weapons, grenade launchers, and anti-aircraft missiles to counter Russian tanks and fighter jets, as well as naval vessels, amphibious boats, and assault helicopters. This is how the majority of the conflict appears on the ground. A closer look at Russia's invasion of Ukraine reveals a glimpse into the region's military warfare in the near future. Ukraine's military is using dozens of remote-controlled drones manufactured in Turkey and armed with guided missiles in an attack on Russian forces. These drones, which look like miniature airplanes, can cost more than $1 million each and are one of a kind. And despite being quite sluggish, they have proven to be extremely successful. There have also been reports of a group of Ukrainian volunteers assisting the military in acquiring small commercial cargo drones, a type that can be purchased online for a few $1,000s, that'll be used to spy on Russian troops and drop bombs and rocket-propelled grenades on their positions. Russia has been developing autonomous drones for several years, but only a small number of them have been seen in Ukraine so far. In the meantime, the Biden administration intends to deploy 100 loitering missiles, also known as death drones, to the Ukrainian military. These weapons, like cruise missiles, can sit passively in the sky near a specific location before striking once their targets are identified. Another aspect of the virtual conflict is the use of artificial intelligence, which has numerous military applications and can be used in a variety of situations. Consider it to be a type of virtual warfare. 5 years ago, the US military used artificial intelligence with the help of the technology industry to analyze millions of high-resolution camera photos captured by surveillance drones in Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan to aid in the hunt for its adversaries. Russia and Ukraine could follow suit in the not-too-distant future. Furthermore, artificial intelligence can be used to evaluate open-source intelligence such as blog posts, TikTok videos, and tweets, which can expose troop movements and attacks, or forecast troop movements by quickly analyzing satellite imagery. So make sure you leave a like and subscribe to help us succeed with the YouTube algorithm. The first signs of a Russian invasion appear to have come from Google Maps. As depicted by the mobile application, Russian military convoys caused exceptionally high traffic delays at the Ukrainian border in late February. The third component of the new virtual battlefield is a greater emphasis on high-tech, data-driven psychological operations as a means of victory. While the concept is similar to traditional propaganda, the conflict is now being fought online rather than on the battlefield, in a high-stakes battle for hearts and minds. Social media platforms allow propagandists of all political stripes to broadcast words and images to the public, including fraudulent and distorted ones. For example, a recent viral video depicted what appeared to be a young Ukrainian girl confronting what appeared to be a Russian soldier. The video, however, was shot in the West Bank in 2012. The girl was Palestinian, and she was defiantly shouting at an Israeli soldier throughout the film. This is the new world we found ourselves in. In the face of virtual war, big tech and big defense will increasingly collaborate, and given the economic and military might of these two sectors, this should cause us to pause for a second and think. The prospect of virtual warfare was initially appealing. Its early iteration suggested that we might one day be able to wage conflicts without the use of soldiers, without the use of physical battlegrounds, and possibly even without death. However, data-driven combat may turn out to be deadlier than anything before it, especially with the introduction of lethal autonomous weapons systems dubbed killing robots or slaughterbots by some. Algorithms are used in these technologies to locate targets and determine when and where to launch attacks on those targets. When autonomous weapon systems are used, human decision-makers are removed from the equation. Last month, United Nations delegates negotiated a treaty prohibiting lethal autonomous weapons in Geneva, but official agreements are still a long way off, despite warnings from some experts that the world is entering an AI arms race. Despite the fact that such developments are troubling, there has been some opposition. A broad coalition of nearly 200 non-governmental organizations, known as the Campaign to Stop Killer Robots, has taken a stand against these weapons, and there is a growing movement of IT employees fighting back against the militarization of big technology. Drone use consistently puts legal norms to the test. They've been used by the administration to justify such operations in countries with which the US is not formally at war under the broad pretext that they are part of the war on terror. This is based on a contentious law passed just a week after the September 11th attacks. Critics argue that the authorization for the use of military force allows for perpetual conflict, but despite Democratic opposition, a Republican majority in the United States Senate has contributed to the authorization's passing. Drone strikes of this type have become common in the United States. The practice began under George W. Bush, grew under Barack Obama, and appears to have grown even more under Donald Trump, despite the fact that he made analysis more difficult by signing an administrative order prohibiting the reporting of drone casualty data. 186 drone strikes were carried out in Pakistan, Syria, and Yemen during Obama's first 2 years in office, according to data provided by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism. 238 drone strikes were carried out across the country during Trump's first year and 11 months in office. The reality is that civilians have been killed and injured in strike after strike as military targets have been misidentified. It's difficult to provide precise data because much of the material is classified. Between January 2009 and December 2015, the US carried out 473 airstrikes against targets outside of Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. According to the Pentagon, 116 civilians were killed in those strikes, accounting for 4% of all recorded casualties. According to Jennifer Gibson of the human rights organization Reprieve, the organization has a high rate of errors. According to a study published in 2014, the United States killed as many as 1,147 other people in attempts to kill 41 people, and the high-value targets died on average 3 times. Some disclosures push the boundaries of credibility to their logical conclusion. The United Kingdom claims that only 1 person was killed or injured as a result of British drone and air operations in Syria and Iraq between September 2014 and January 2019. According to the UK, 4,315 fighters were killed during those same raids. In contrast, press reports paint a different picture. It's believed that a US drone strike in Afghanistan killed 30 farm laborers in the previous year, and that a US drone strike in southern Libya killed up to 11 people. It'll be interesting to see if humans are ever removed from the loop, resulting in the science fiction nightmare scenario of AI-powered drones selecting and locking onto targets with no human control. There's no shortage of speculation and concern about the subject, but there has been no proof of the use of drones, particularly lethal drones, controlled entirely by computers. Nonetheless, the medium-term threat persists, and a campaign, Stop Killer Robots, is underway in the hope of halting their development through a global treaty, which the US, Russia, and China oppose. Experts want to establish standards for autonomous warfare in the near future, but there is no genuine effort to limit its development or spread, as there is with drone technology in general. That's it for today's video. Let me know if you think drone attacks should be more restricted due to the high civilian casualties, or is it simply an acceptable side effect? I hope you've enjoyed watching this video just like I've enjoyed making it, and make sure to comment with any future videos that you're interested in watching. I'll be seeing you all soon, but until then, watch this video to learn more about the AI drones used by the Russian military, and as always, subscribe or